Chapter 23. Welcome to the madhouse. Mrs. Spider brushed down the green velvet look velour settee and straightened the cushions.
Just make sure that you're on your best behaviour, Bert Spider.
Oh, me? Of course I will, love, said Harry's father as he set the table.
I made it, Bert. No breaking wind at the table with this one.
Oh, me, love? Of course not, love.
And that goes for you too, young man,
she said, turning to Dickie.
Oh, me, love? Of course not, love,
replied Dickie, imitating his father. Mrs. Spider stood with her hand on her hip, so they knew she was being deadly serious.
And I mean it this time, you two. That father of hers has got his own company, you know. If he can get his feet under her table, he'll be made for life.
Bert looked up at her in surprise. What happened to your stick to your own classes theory? You've changed your tune.
Yes, well, with good reason. Maybe this girl will actually change him, 'cause God knows nobody in his own class has been able to do it. Desperate times require desperate measures, Bert Spider.
Aye, I suppose you're right, he conceded. Went the doorbell, and with it, a final warning from Mrs. Spider.
Remember, you two, best behaviour, and I'll be watching ye.
She then checked her newly styled hair in the hallway mirror and headed for the door. Dickie dived under the table and prepared for his favourite trick. It was Harry that had rung the doorbell. It was a prearranged plan that had been rehearsed the day before. Mrs. Spider was to act surprised, as though she had no idea that Victoria was going to visit. So she'd cleaned and tidied the house to within an inch of its life, as she just wanted to create a good impression. And so she opened the door and she acted surprised. But she also acted posh.
Ah, Harold, has that you?
She said, in an accent that added letters where they shouldn't be and removed them from where they should. Harry was a bit embarrassed. This wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, it's me, Mum, but is that you? Well, of course it is. To whom else would it be? Oh, and this must be your young lady friend. What a surprise! So pleased to make your acquaintance.
And for some reason, Mrs. Spider curtsied.
Come on then, and have a wee bit of tea. Or is it dinner? Or is it lunch? Look, it's one of those. Mother, cut the accent out. It's embarrassing. What accent, Harold? I can't help the way I speak.
And she continued on, doing a very bad impression of the Queen.
Victoria, I'd like you to meet Robert.
Bert looked behind him before remembering that he'd actually been christened Robert. Oh, hello, love. What a surprise. Yes, this is definitely a surprise. Harry's mother momentarily reverted back to her more familiar vernacular. Bert, cut that out. Cut that hoot. Whoops, sorry dearie. Just a little slip. Oop. Come over here, Victoria, lovey. Sit down and take the weight, off your feet.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Spider.
And do please call me Bert. Harry's mother frowned, but Victoria smiled comfortably.
Oh, thank you, Bert. And please call me Vicky.
And she squeezed her way around the dining room table and sat down. And that was Dickie's cue. His head popped out from under the table.
Vicky's got white knickers on, Vicky's got white knickers on,
he screamed. Harry shook his head and squirmed with absolute embarrassment.
Oh no, I knew this was a bad idea.
But it could have been worse, as Harry's sister Susan was nowhere to be seen. They only knew she wasn't in because the record player wasn't blaring out some love song or other. But Harry saw this as a blessing, because he could do without introducing a sulky prima donna who was the centre of her own universe, and who would definitely ruin his cool with some sarcastic remark or maybe something worse. No, it was bad enough without all that. So, tentatively, Harry took a seat next to Victoria to shield her from his family. But, remarkably, Victoria's visit was going quite well. She was handling all of Mrs. Spider's questions with patience and good grace. Even the question about Harry getting a Saturday job at her father's engineering firm was tactfully answered with a polite refusal, as she explained that his factory didn't open on Saturdays, which surprised Harry, as he knew someone who used to work there on a Saturday. But that was a few months back, and Victoria's father had obviously changed the weekend working hours since then, so that explained that. Eventually, after quite a few more awkward questions, and only one more embarrassing moment being provided by Dickie, who'd pulled himself down on his vinyl chair and released a high-pitched fart or two, it was time to leave.
Rightio then, Vicky. Are we making a move then?
asked Harry.
Oh, already? Gosh, time sure does fly when you're having fun.
And she drained the last of her coffee and climbed to her feet.
Thanks for the meal, Mrs. Spider. It was lovely,
she said, even though she'd hardly touched hers.
That's all right, dear. Shepherd's pie is my speciality.
Yes, I can certainly see that. Don't be a stranger now, will you, lovey? Added Harry's father.
Oh, I won't be,
she said, smiling at Harry, who puffed out his chest and beamed with pride. They bid their farewells and stepped out of the door, and as it closed, Dickie farted again. It was his hat trick. A hyena-like laugh followed, with the sound of a slap not far behind.
Sorry about that, Vicky, said Harry.
Sorry for what?
Your family are really nice. In fact, they'll be perfect.
What?
I said they're really nice. They're perfect.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're harmless, I suppose. But I wouldn't exactly say that they were perfect.
Oh, they are, Harry. Absolutely perfect.
And she gripped his hand tightly and smiled and narrowed her eyes. But Harry didn't notice. He was too busy walking on air again. But then Harry had a thought that filled him with dread.
At least yours is over with, Vicky. I've got it all to go through tomorrow at yours. Oh, don't worry about it, Harold. My parents are not total ogres, you know. They have a nice side too.
And she narrowed her eyes again and said,
And next time we should maybe invite your whole family.
Harry was really flattered now.
Wow, she must really like me if she wants our families to meet already, he mused.
But he still had his doubts.
Yeah, maybe, but not yet. Maybe next week. or the week after that, or the week after that, maybe. Anyway, you have told them about me, haven't you?
Well, not exactly, she said, fiddling with her hair nervously.
Well, what exactly have you told them about me?
Exactly nothing?
Nothing? Well, what if your mother remembers who I am, and where I'm from, and how I met you?
Hey, calm down, young fellow, my lad. I have a very splendid idea.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Well, what is it then? A disguise or something?
No, I'll just tell them you come from another area.
That's it? That's your plan? It's not a very good one, Vicky.
Well, it's the only one I've got.
Well, it'll have to do then, won't it?
Sighed Harry.
Victoria linked her arm with his, and his confidence soared again. And at that moment, he felt like he was her fairy tale prince. But unlike Prince Charming, there would be no fairy tale ending for Harry Spider.